Hello, everyone. Thanks for dropping in. This is Healing Body, Mind, and Soul, Healing Vibes with Ariel. I'm your host, Ariel Asher, and today I have the honor and privilege to be with my new friend, Julia Anderson. You're going to want to lean in, pull up a seat, and hear about Julia's story. Now, I met Julia. This is actually the first time that we're seeing each other face to face on this interview. But I read her book and I thought that it would be so great to have her on Healing Vibes with Ariel and to talk to the Body, Mind, Soul audience because it's just so timely. She's overcome so much and really used her own art, her creativity, and really connected into her own source and power to get herself through to the other side from trauma, from grief, from all of that stuff, and really following her heart. I'm so proud of her. And she's got a great book. I'm going to let her talk about that as well. And she also, as a bonus, sent me a great book as a thank you. I had the privilege of being one of the people who was writing a little review of the book beforehand on her new book that she's just publishing. And as a thank you, being the artist that she is, she sends me another book for saying thank you, which is just great. I love, she's just absolutely prolific. We love it. This one is the one that she sent me as a thank you, guys. I'll just go ahead and spill the beans on this one. This one is called Altars of Healing by her. And I wanted to put this up front because I want to make sure that she knows how much I appreciate that she sent that. It's so wonderful. And I, as a spiritual teacher and artist, I believe in this using altars to heal space, the space within ourselves as well as the space around ourselves. So instead of having me ramble on forever here, let me just go ahead and turn it over to my new friend, construction worker, builder, author, and speaker, Julia Anderson. Thanks for being here today, Julia.
Oh, thank you so much, Ariel. This is such a privilege, and thank you for such a generous introduction. It's thrilling. This is the piece about what I love about building. So building, literally, when you're building in construction, is such a perfect metaphor for what we're all building together. So we're building together in our communities and professional, personal, and then we're building in our personal lives. And so I love sharing and listening. It's always an honor to be able to talk with people about it because it's very powerful.
Mm, mm. Well, Julia, I know because you've read my review, you already know what I think of your book, which I think is just really marvelous. It's called Under Construction. And Julia, would you mind telling our give a brief synopsis of the book so that our listeners can get a little handle on what it is that you're talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So I'm really excited. My book, Under Construction, will be born on the 28th of this month, so soon.
Oh,
And really, I have two children of my own, and this is the third birth. That's what I say. And it's really the birthing of myself, because what Under Construction is the story of how I took a series of what could be considered unfortunate events in my life. I had one of those years of reckoning that some of us, I know I have friends that 2020 has been that year for them, or even right now. 2016 was my year where it was the best of times and the worst of times. And I mean, literally, I went through a divorce. I lost my mother and best friend to cancer. And I was unfortunately drugged and sexually assaulted all in 1 year.
oh
So
my
when you look at
God.
that, yeah, when you look at that, it's like, ah, and oddly and not oddly, when I share my story, which is what Under Construction is, I realize I'm not alone. I'm like, oh my gosh, that seems like a lot. But the more that I share, the more I realize I'm not alone. So many people have so much weight on their shoulders, so much trauma, so much pain body. And so that's why I wanted to share this book, because Ariel, I don't know if I've shared this with you, but one of the things that happened to me when I experienced trauma of this year, I love writing. It's my passion. And I've heard this before, when people go through a period of healing from trauma, I lost my ability to write for years. I mean, literally it just wasn't there, so it's like, some people would call it an artistic or writer's block, but it wasn't that. It just went away. And I was like, oh, I don't know when it'll ever come back. And this book that I'm birthing was the revival of my ability to express myself safely. And so, I took one of those 30-day book writing challenges because nothing was happening. And I just wanted to see, if I showed up for 30 days at this point in my healing, what would happen. I mean, at that point, it was 4 years after, surviving sexual assault, and I did it. So I just committed for 30 days, and it brought me to this point of having this book to share. So that's what this is that, sometimes when we look at people, it's like, they must be a superhero. There must be something that happened. And it's like, no, I'm just a lady who, has gone through a lot of ups and downs and has kept trying. And that's it. And kept showing up. And because of that, I get to be here with you and to share and to bring my story to the world, to bring healing.
Yeah. Well, I think that we're all put on this planet to be guides for each other. And I really like about you, Julia, that you took that experience as an artist would. Okay. I want to underline that in red because I'm an artist myself. And regardless of how you express that, I think that there's an archetype that is artist that has us wanting to produce, wanting to make, wanting to build as you did.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's that unusual that you had that shutdown for 4 years.
Yeah.
I see that as the percolation time. I think that because what I noticed when I read your book, and I hope our audience is really listening in and getting ready to get on Amazon and get that book, or to reach out and get that book, is that you had the perspective that you had was like you took a 4-year break, because you handled it as if you were already healed, and you were able to tell the tale from a remarkable perspective, and weaving in stories from your youth and weaving in little insights that you came upon. Like, that doesn't happen overnight. So I think that, that percolation must have really done you some good. I know what it's like, because sometimes I'm like, my career as an intuitive healing artist, and sometimes I'm like, intuitive, I don't know where the door is, right? It's like, but that's because there's a reason that you're not connected. Yeah, there's a reason. So something is happening during that lag time, I think.
Yes.
I want to boast on you too, Julia, because your book impacted me so much that I did find myself talking about it to clients of mine, and using snippets and parables of what you have overcome, the trauma that you had to overcome, right? And I love that you've took up building construction. Just what a wonderful metaphor to set the foundation for yourself to create your new reality, literally, for you and your children. Just super inspiring.
Oh, thank you.
Do you want to talk about, so we know your process, 30 days, trial by fire. There you go. Do you have anything more you want to say to our listeners about that?
Well, it's these leaps of faith. So my background is in teaching. So, I had a deep background in teaching, basically pre-K through 12 and all sorts of things around the United States, as a lot of teachers have bounced around. I loved it. It was a wonderful experience. I learned so much, and I love working with youth and of all ages, because it's so inspiring. And that's really what brought me into construction, was that deep in my soul, when I was working with all these kids around the United States, I'd ask them, what do you really want? What's your dream? And they'd share their dreams with me, and they were beautiful dreams. And in my own heart, my dream that connected to my experience in teaching and learning was to build my own house. And that was the thing, is that, that part of your mind that shuts you down, that's like, you can't do that, you don't know how to do that. The thing I would never share with my students, I had going on in my own brain. And so what was amazing about going through the first part of my life shift, where things were really being brought down, really kind of in a cataclysmic way, showing me,
The
what do I want?
deconstruction. Yeah, the
Yes, the
deconstruction part. Yeah.
deconstruction, absolutely. The demo, right? The grand demo. It was like, Julia, what's in there? And that was the part that really brought this story, that's what brings this story forward, is when I say, I want to build. I want to learn to build. It's my right. I deserve this. And saying that to myself, and that like literally opened a door into the beautiful part that holds my story that I share. It's the foundation. It's the scaffolding that brings me through these very challenging moments, is that I have a passion, I have a dream, and I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep learning, even when I stink at it. I'm going to keep trying. And, and here I am. I'm in construction still. I love it. I am a builder. I say that here in my community, and people respect me as that on many levels, because they're like, yeah, we see you building. Whether I'm wearing my Carhartt overalls or, I'm here talking with you. I am a builder. That's for sure.
I love that. I love that. So what's next on your agenda? Where are you going to take your creativity? What are you building? What are you working on? Tell us what's coming
Yeah.
up for you.
Well, it's so fun, Ariel, because, you know, like I said, there's so many different levels. So I love asking people questions, because I'm a very curious person, and that helps me. It's helped me heal. It's helped me on so many levels to just be inquisitive. And so I'm always asking people, what do you need to build your dream? Like, how can I support you in building your dream? Is it a literal thing? So I just recently met a woman who wants to remodel trailers, and she's wonderful. And so we just connected, and she's like, would you help me create a toolbox? So this was a literal toolbox of things. And I was like, I'd love to, because working in construction, I'll be starting my 6th year in February. I know great tools. And I was like, and as a woman that entered construction without owning a hammer, I'm like, now I can guide other women in this, especially, or any new builder, and so that's my focus. And so what's fun is I'm getting a lot of information right now. So I'm saying, okay, where do I need to lean into? What do people need from me? How can I be of service? And so I'm in a very, that's what's fun about a book is a calling card to say, how can I be of service to you? And that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm in my own new adventure. And so, and then I'll, get a lot of this input, and then I'll start offering, creating some really, juicy and rich offerings based on what people are saying they need. And it might lean toward a more spiritual healing practice. It might lean towards a more literal building, and it might infuse both, because that's what I love doing, is like,
Well, I hope it's both.
yeah,
I don't like this either or kind of thing.
I don't either. Well,
I'm very much a spiritual healing artist and a
yeah,
techie. So
yes.
these dichotomies are ridiculous. I think that yes and um
Yeah.
Julia, I want to lean into one snippet. Another thing that I was saying that I was bragging on you to some of my clients and some of the people in my circle, because I love what you did. Now, you didn't get the wonderful put somebody behind bars moment, but what I loved, it was the climax was even better. I don't want to give away everything, but it was even better because the community really came together. And what I liked, and I loved that, a good teacher, and I totally understand this part, tie it up in my heart, that you went back to your students and provided them with community and space because of the exact thing that had occurred. And you were better able to provide them space, literally and figuratively. Can you talk a little bit about what I'm alluding to here, so that my audience knows what I'm talking about?
Yes. Well, so it's a beautiful part of, like you said, it's never an either or. So even though, in part of my story at this time, I stepped down from a position officially teaching. What you never step down from are those intimate relationships that you build with your students. And as my mom was losing her battle with cancer, I needed to wanted to attend completely. So I needed to step down from teaching, which started some of this as well. Those relationships were huge to me. So woven through this story is how, yes, in our community here, that was shattered from a fact where I went to a local bar where everybody knew my name to have a glass of wine before going to a theater performance. And that's where I was drugged, was in my own community. So some of the breaking down of community, saying to the kids I had worked with who were English language learners here, not given a lot of opportunity, and saying, no matter what, we can create authentic connection together, whatever we've been through, wherever we come from, whatever we lose along the way, there's always that moment where we can rebuild and reconnect. And that's the piece in the story that I love. There's a moment with my students where we have that reconnection and we have that completion, where it's like, wherever we go from here, we built a sense of trust that gets taken through. And that's the part, is sometimes trust gets broken for different reasons in our lives, but we can rebuild, and we can build something that might not have been there before in someone's life. And we can do both things together, and that it's possible. It's possible in a little community like where I live outside of Seattle. It's possible anywhere in the world, no matter what. And I think that's the part in my story I love, is that no matter what, it's possible. No matter how many things come down, go wrong, go right, whatever it is, it's possible. And just keep believing, keep working, and that's coming from the place of love. That's everyone's like, love wins, which obviously I didn't coin, but I use it all the time with my kids, people in my life. People buy me love wins things all the time. And I'm like, yes, it does. Because even in our darkest hour, love wins. It will win in a way we might not even know. And that's in being a teacher, being a builder. It's all the same. It's working together, collaborating.
So you don't know this about me, but I have a background in theater arts.
Yeah.
So you really touched my heart on all levels with this story. There were so many touch points in the story, and so I've taught as an artist in schools for many years, doing different things at different times in my life, because I'm that kind of person, free moving, and where am I needed to serve. But you really touched some chords with me, and also spending some of my formative years in the Pacific Northwest, in Bremerton and Port Orchard, in the Puget Sound area. So all of those things sort of really put me in the headspace of being a fan from the get-go. But I do want to say that your story is going to be so beneficial for so many people. The power of the community, the power of the promise, Julia. You promised those kids, and I love that you tied it up in that beautiful package. And some of them had forgotten that the promise was made to them. And because you're operating from your heart and from that integrity place, what a wonderful gift to deliver to them, even when they had forgotten the promise that was made to them by you. You're just
Very
a
important.
great shining example of a great big shining heart, Julia. We love it.
Well,
We
thank
love
you.
it. So if there's anybody who's sitting at home and they feel that your story may resonate with them, or maybe they've had similar trauma or anguish that has been put in their path, an obstruction in their path, hopefully not stopped them, what would be your advice to them, Julia?
Oh, I love that question. One of my great teachers told me this, and in the sense it was, I am a joyful person. So in my heart, I feel joy. And that when I've gone through this trauma and this experience of pain, to say something to myself that has helped me immensely. And it's to say that I am joy and I have a companion of grief. I have a companion of sadness or a companion of anger, because I've experienced that too. And I love that because it allows me to still be me no matter what I've gone through. And because, a lot of times when we go through something traumatic, we become identified with it as us. And it's like, what I've experienced isn't me, but it is my companion. And it's my companion that needs my attention. It's my companion that needs help. And just that's one of the greatest gifts that I've been given, because it's allowed me to continue to be myself, no matter what's going on. And that never diminishes my strength. And it also allows me to get help, because I think that's the best thing, is that, oh my gosh, let's help each other. Let's get help. Let's feel worthy of help. Like I give myself permission to be helped right now. I mean, I had to do that in my story many times, to say, oh, I need help. So that's a way of, I think, looking at yourself, where you're so worthy to have this companion that needs attention, to get some help. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you spoke up for your inner angry piece, and I'm
Oh
glad
yeah.
because I think you were very well vindicated, and I think that it must have blown your mind that your community was able to bring some sense of justice and protection to your area, and just to see your community banding together and rising up. It's really inspiring, Julia. So, if everybody wants to get your book, where can they get hold of you, Julia?
Well, the greatest hub right now is to come straight to my website, because I'm putting out a lot of information. So Julia Harriet, with Harriet, it's always one of those tricky. So Julia, HARRIET.com. And, I'm always putting up new things there, and I'm going to really be doing so more and more ongoing. So that's a great spot. You can reach out to me. It's very easy to send me a message. So if you have something where you'd like support or resources or ideas, or you want to build something, it's a great place to shoot me any kind of a connection, and I'll write you right back as quickly as I can, and find me on social media there. So it's a perfect hub that way. And I do a lot of blog posting, because I love writing about building too. So it's a fun place to just check in with me and see what's upcoming.
I love that you are locked and loaded into your passion and your purpose, Julia. I hope that you keep producing more meaningful art, more beautiful structures, and helping people who are in trauma get some structure for how they can get themselves out, what they can build to get themselves out. So trying to keep with your metaphor there.
Yeah.
Julia, I want to thank you so much for spending a little time with us on Body, Mind, Soul TV, and taking the time to come in. I'm sure there's some building project that is calling you at the moment that you're taking time out, and I just really want to honor you. And say thank you from the bottom of my heart for sending me a little gift, and thank you for spending some time with me and my audience.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been a privilege. And yeah, please connect, anyone that feels inspired. I'd love to hear from you. And I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
All right. So everybody go check out juliaharriet.com. Okay, everybody, I think we're going to wrap it up. I'd like to stay with her all day long. I think she's just great. But you can reach out to her at juliaharriet.com. Or if you would like to reach out to me, arielasher.com or bodymindsoul.tv. Until next time, everyone, do what makes your heart sing.